Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's going on? It is just me, myself, and I tonight. So, um, Sean could not make it here tonight. There's no music tonight. We are getting straight to business. We getting straight to it, having the conversations that we need to have about around the sports world, particularly football. Um, and we're going to just go ahead and get right into it. Today was a very hectic day. I did not get to prepare in some of the ways that I normally would. Been busy with the kids all day. They've been home because today's election day. Hope you guys went out there and voted. And I hope you guys voted in a way that aligns with this country's continued survival. Um, and whatever that means for you, cool. But listen, man, it is 8 o'clock. We will be finding out very shortly who is our future president, and we're either we're either going to make history or make infamy. Either way, we're going to talk about this sports thing, though. So a lot of things happened this week. We talk NFL trade deadline happened, went down today. A lot of moves today. You had a lot of highlight reel things that happened in the NFL. Crazy catches, um, crazy spin moves, backwards hurdles, and we're going to get into all that. We're going to recap week 9. And can you believe it that we're actually heading into week 10? Like, that's where we are now. We are right there. We are in week 10 of the NFL. We're almost done. Like, that kind of blows my mind a little bit that we're almost done. Um, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. I rather, like, I'm like, dang, gone too soon a little bit. Like, I wish we had a little bit more time with it, you know? But we'll see how things go moving forward here. Um, but give me 1 second. I'm messing with this. Yep, there it is. All right. There's a new ticker tape here. I'm on. I use EV Mux just to let you guys know, but there's a new ticker tape here that I can add that shows all the news headlines of the day, and I like that. So that's a new thing, new feature that I just added to this episode. Now you can see all the up to date news, uh, or the highlights of the news right here. What up? In the Jeans Fitness. I hope you're ready to get your butt whooped later on this evening. You know what I'm saying? I hope you're ready for that. Um, I'm just kidding because honestly, I don't know if I'm going to win, bro. I don't know. We'll find out. But it's been 4 minutes, so let's go ahead and have this conversation. All right, very quickly. Week 9 just happened, and I'm just going to start out with the Eagles game, man. I'm going to start out very quickly with the Eagles game because that was the game that stood out to me. Um, Eagles game, and it started out incredible if you're an Eagles fan. Eagles versus Jaguars. The score was 28-23, I believe. Um, Let me just check that to be sure. But I do believe that the score was 28-23. Do, 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 do. Sorry. Like, yep. Oh man, I'm good. 28-23. At one point in the third quarter, the score was 22-0. Eagles was putting up trouncing on the Jaguars like they should have and like they were supposed to. Um, but then, unfortunately, we get a Saquon Barkley fumble that honestly wasn't a fumble. I don't know if you guys were paying attention or not, but that what happened there wasn't a fumble, man. Um, Saquon Barkley went down on the he went down on the run. He got hit in his foot, went down, knee hit down, and then the ball comes out from the ground. and the Jaguars run it back for fumble six, and we're thinking on review that's definitely going to come back. The announcers are thinking it's definitely going to come back, and yet we hear it's confirmed. Like perplexed and like what's going on here? How is that? How did you just confirm something when you're watching on video? What exactly happened? Blew my mind, and basically that opened the door up for the Jaguars to come back. But but those type of fluke things that happen, you would have been fine with that fluke thing that happened if your coach was doing what he should have been doing the whole game. But he wasn't. Every single fourth down throughout this game, there was an opportunity to take the points, or if you score a touchdown, there was an opportunity to take the points. Nick Sirianni refused to take the points. Absolutely refused to take the points. And there was no creativity in the way that he went about the 2 point conversions or the fourth down plays or anything like that. Everything was pretty much tush push or die. And the tush push was not working on this day. The brotherly shove. I'd rather call it the brotherly shove personally. But the tush push is the name that caught on for some reason. And so, but anyway, I do not understand for the life of me why Nick Sirianni consistently went for two, refused to kick field goals, and while watching this tush push fail. And then the one time that you truly needed the tush push, or you truly needed to convert on that fourth down, and this time you decide not to do the tush push. You decide to do some fake thing that also didn't work. Nick Sirianni is it's almost like he's trying to lose his job, it seems like, when it comes to the Eagles. Or maybe he's so lost in what he provides to this team, like, because he doesn't know that he's searching for something, and he's trying to be aggressive. He's trying to be the voice, the leader. Like, it doesn't, but none of it is coming together. It's not adding up, and the Eagles are winning games in a lot of ways. It seems like they are winning games in spite of their head coach, not because of their head coach. And I don't know at what point that's going to come to a head, but I do see that coming to a head here soon. Because you left 9 points out there. That's the number, guys. Every time that he didn't take a field goal, every time he didn't just take the extra point on the touchdown, that totaled up to 9 possible points for the Eagles that he left out there. And in the end, it came down to a Nakobe Dean. Shout out to Nakobe Dean. Doing a heroic play of getting an interception to save the Eagles from losing a game on an epic collapse. Because you was leading 22-0, and you almost lost because of your head coach refusing to take the points. If you took the points all game, it would have never came down to needing an interception at the end of the game. But it did because your head coach, I don't know, maybe he's trying to be like Dan Quinn. Maybe, I mean, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, Campbell, trying to be like the Lions head coach. He wants to be ultra aggressive and all that. No, man, please, just play smart football. And also, speaking of the tush push, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see it to the level that we are doing it. Like last year, it was like something in the 90s or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. See, Sean says Shout out to Sean because he's not on the episode, but Sean says sometimes it seems like he's trying to be Dan Campbell, but I actually believe that Dan believes 100% in every decision he makes. Exactly, and that's what it feels like. I thought about this, and that's what it feels like. It feels like Nick Sirianni is trying to impersonate another head coach, and he's trying to do the things that Dan Campbell does to maybe to ingratiate himself with the players or to ingratiate himself with the public because Dan Campbell is lauded for his aggressiveness. If it wins or fails, like they're like, hey man, he lives by the sword, dies by the sword, whatever. You know what I mean? And in this particular case, it just it's not the same thing because these decisions just feel wishy-washy. They don't feel smart, and it doesn't. And the game plan to score or the game plan to push it past that fourth down doesn't add up. Like it's very simplistic and it like the tush push. Like there's no creativity there. When Dan Campbell does it, he's doing some trick play. He's there's something there that he wants to try and see if it works. Whereas Nick Sirianni, it's like, oh, okay, very basic here. Why even do this? And back to the tush push. The tush push ain't working like it used to. It was in the 90 percentile of being effective for the Eagles last year. This year feels like it's maybe something like 60%. 60% effective. And mind you, I don't know the real numbers of the effectiveness of the tush push. I'm just freestyling on what it feels like to me when I'm watching it. It feels like it's effective more so than it's not, but it's nowhere near as effective as it was in previous years. And I was on a podcast just yesterday. I was on a podcast yesterday, live from the bench, and shout out to the guys from Live from the Bench for having me on. But we were talking about this yesterday, and they need to maybe the Eagles need to have Jason Kelsey come back in, and he needs to take a few days, stop himself, you know what I mean, from throwing phones on the ground and smashing them, and have a sit down with Cam Jurgens and help him figure out the exact way that Jason used to do the tush push or the way that he was under center in the tush push because it just doesn't feel the same like Cam Jurgens is doing the same things that Jason Kelsey was doing to make it effective. One thing I know that he's not putting both hands into the dirt before he snaps. Jason Kelsey, like last year, they were flagging the Eagles, saying that the left guard wasn't aligned properly because they saw two hands next to the football, like the center's hand, and they thought it was the left guard's hand, but that's actually Jason Kelsey's other hand because he has his other hand in the dirt and he's about the height. And what I would imagine what he did there was he would use that leverage of both hands being in the dirt, so he hiked and he would use the leverage to be able to launch himself into the feet or into the lower legs of the defensive tackle over center or whoever. And in doing so, you take out the legs of that person. That person can't provide push that way because there's nothing there for him, and that allows Jalen Hurts and whoever's pushing behind him to just push that person right over. All right, but clearly this tush push thing is not as effective without Jason Kelsey, and I don't want to see it as much as we have. I would like for the Eagles to actually figure out some red zone stuff. But there was a lot of great things that happened in this game. But like I said, the name of this episode is the Walking Highlight Reel, and that's because it feels like Saquon Barkley is a walking highlight reel. Saquon Barkley had himself a day against the Jags, and boy, that dude, he did it all. He did everything that you Everything that you would have wanted him to do, he accomplished it on this night. Uh, like Doug, he was the man. One particular the play that everybody saw. Um, and actually, I'm gonna bring it up here now, just for you guys to see it. Let's see if I can do. Give me it. There we go. Um, I'm gonna share it real quick. I'm sorry. Do. Yeah. There we go. But the one play where he does the backwards hurdle over the guy, like he goes crazy. Um, and I just think everybody needs to watch that multiple times, see it for the third time, maybe for the fourth time, you know? And here we go. There we go. And all right. All right. And just in time, just like that, we're going to get it replayed. All right. As you can see here, he does the spin move, starts to go right. The guy guesses which way he was going, and that's when he turns. Incredible move here. Actually, I'm gonna pause it real quick. LaShawn McCoy actually broke this down when he was talking about it. Um, he was saying that how he talked to Saquon and what actually happened there in that situation, and was whoa, okay. And what Saquon was saying was, hold on one second. Saquon was saying was right here. Let me go back. Right here. He comes out. This is where he first comes out of the spin. And you see he starts to go to the right. As he's going to the right, the Jones guesses the direction and starts to move to the right too. I guess he sees that, and when he saw him start to go to the right, he stopped himself and just jumped backwards, opened his legs, and caused Jones to miss. Like, that is incredible. That's incredible foresight and thought put into it, man. And like that instinctual way of thinking and moving all at the same time, man. The Eagles are blessed to have Saquon Barkley. Absolutely blessed. And thank you, Giants, for being idiots. Absolute idiots. And re-signing Daniel Jones instead of keeping Saquon Barkley. And I gotta say, as an Eagles fan, it's nice to be on this side of it because, man, did I feel like we got egg on our face when we drafted Jalen Rager and the Vikings were laughing their heads off in their war room and they drafted Justin Jefferson right after us. Like, they was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Like, and they was like, okay, give us Justin Jefferson. That's what I feel like right now. Like, oh my God, can't believe you did that. Thank you for Saquon Barkley. We needed that. Um, so, but yeah, man, walking highlight reel there from Saquon Barkley. Another highlight reel catch was Devon. I don't have the clip up, and I'm not going to go searching for it neither. Not, not right now. So, but yeah, um, one thing. Hold on. What? But yeah, one thing for sure is Devonta Smith's catch on Sunday was incredible. Devonta Smith at the back of the end zone. Jalen Hurts throws it up. Devonta reaches out, grabs it, like basically from going out of bounds, and keeps both feet in bounds on purpose. By the way, shout out to Sean, and I say on purpose because shout out to Sean for bringing up the Garrett Wilson catch that he doesn't really respect it. I don't respect it neither, but he doesn't really give it as much respect or as much reverence as other people because it was an accidental catch. He didn't mean to like barely catch it with his shin. Like, in fact, he caught it, tried to turn around, and I guess he thought he had more space than he did. Like, because I don't understand. Me personally, I can't do any of the things that Garrett Wilson could do, but I do understand that it didn't make any sense to try to turn around with that ball. You catch the ball and just try to put both feet down on the ground and let your body fall. Like that's what you should have did. But he caught it, tried to turn himself around, didn't have no space to go anywhere, and if in my opinion that wasn't a catch. His knee landed out of bounds, but they was like, well, his shin landed in bounds or whatever, and I honestly think that if that had been the Carolina Panthers, or if that had been the New Orleans Saints player, or any other bottom feeder team that didn't have a whole lot of buzz at the beginning of the season, and that the NFL didn't want, like, the NFL wants to see the Jets be successful and all that stuff. Like, they wouldn't have gave that to him. They gave that to him to give him a shot at winning. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like to me, because I looked at that. I was like, that's not a catch, man. If Des Bryant ain't a catch, that's not a catch. You know what I'm saying? If some of the Calvin Johnson stuff that he used to do is not a catch, that certainly is not a catch. So, and that Garrett Wilson thing did not feel like a catch. And to everybody out there that's glazing that catch and saying, oh, it's greater than the OBJ catch, seek help. Please. Go find someone to talk to, a therapist, find a couch, and lay down and seek help because you're sick. But anyway, back to other highlights from this our other games, because we talked about the Eagles. And I by the way, real quick before we get out of here from the Eagles, I do have the video of when um, they called it a fumble and it wasn't actually a fumble. So I'm gonna bring that up right now. Do do do. All right, here we are.
A little surprised as you are. I know Ventrell Miller
Saw
hits
right
that
there, that's
calf,
where he hits
and
his
if you
hand.
watch
And
Saquon's
then
foot
look,
then
thigh
steps
down,
on,
and
it
that's
looks
when the
like a
ball comes
teammate.
out.
Yep. Now, whether they deem that that is what caused Saquon to stumble, you still have some contact there within one stride to the other.
Like the ball,
and I was kind
the
of going
ground
down the
cannot
path you
cause a
guys were
fumble.
going
He was
down,
already
where that
down.
contact and then followed by a stumble would then put him down by contact, because we know the ground can't cause a fumble. Now, if they deemed that contact by Miller was not significant and he kept his balance, then he wasn't down by contact. Boy, guys, I'm a little surprised as you are. I know Ventrell Miller hits that calf, and if you watch Saquon's foot then steps on, it looks like a teammate.
Yep.
Now, whether they deem that
NFL, right? They're gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. Nah, man, these people are tripping. They definitely need to seek help, man. It, I don't understand what they got going on in life, bro. All right, let's talk about another game. Those that's on here with me right now, which game stood out to you guys as I look for another game here? Um, I do have a question for you guys, man. Do you think what's your thoughts on DJ Moore and Caleb Williams? Do you think that's a fixable situation? There's a video circulating around of DJ Moore taking himself out the play. DJ Moore falls down. It looks like he comes up limp. It is kind of hurt, but he walks right off the field while the play is still happening. He walks off the field and sits on the bench in the middle of the play. And now he was hurt, or at least he limped a little bit to the bench. So maybe he was hurt, and that may be the excuse. But Do you guys think that he would have did that to anybody else? Do you think he would have did that last year to Justin Fields? Think he would have did that in Carolina? Like, what's our thoughts here on what's going on with this team and what's going on with DJ Moore and his relationship with Caleb Williams? Because I bring that up because Caleb, early in the season, man, everybody talked about how he's like, oh yeah, the NFL is definitely easier than college, and like he talked with so much bravado and everything like that. And when we watch them play and we watch the results, it doesn't quite add up. And DJ Moore, there's another video from earlier this season where DJ Moore is mouthing to Tyson Bagent. I don't know if I said that first name right, but Bagent, the backup QB for the Bears, he mouths, "We need you, bro," and basically saying like, "Dog, I don't like this QB thing ain't working out. I need you." And we're watching time after time when every pass that Caleb seems to throw to DJ Moore, the timing is off. They can't get on the same page. He's like, either DJ Moore stops and Caleb thought he was still going to run, or DJ Moore keeps running and Caleb thought he was going to stop. Like, every pass is so off target because these guys can't get on the same page. Makes me, you got to wonder, hey man, will these guys be able to get on the same page? Will they be able to fix it? I do believe that DJ Moore recently, like this year, signed an extension with the team. And I also believe, well, not I believe, but Caleb Williams is the number one overall draft pick from this year. So with DJ Moore just getting an extension recently, and I may be freestyling there, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. But let's say it's true that DJ Moore did recently get a extension with the Bears, and with Caleb Williams being the number one overall draft pick, neither one of those guys are going anywhere anytime soon, unless the Bears decide to trade DJ Moore. Neither one of them is going anywhere, so they need to figure it out and work it out. And I wonder if that's a salvageable situation between the two of them. Sean says Caleb can fix it by being a better, more decisive QB. And then he also says DJ Moore walked off, no question. Caleb seems like he has a better relationship with the media than the key players on offense. You can always learn how to garner the respect of your peers. Hey man, you right. You right. You know what I mean? If Willie Beeman could figure it out, Caleb Williams could figure it out. I got you. They left because I don't know if you guys remember, but in Any Given Sunday, in that rain game, they left Willie Beeman out to dry. They was going to let that dude get killed. He had to figure it out. Had to figure out how to be a team player, and they worked it out in the end. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he needs to watch more movies like that. Figure out how he's going to ingratiate himself to the players on his team. Just like Adam Sandler's character in The Longest Yard. I can't think of that dude's name right now, but you know, when he sold himself out to the team, they was just going to let him do whatever, and they was just going to take the L. He went out there, ran around, and all that, did the highlight reel stuff, and now the team was ready to play for him again. You need to figure something like that out, you know? Go out there, do something like that, because right now, whatever it is that he got going on, it's not working, and it's not working out for the Bears. The Bears are trash. Well, they're 4-4, so I mean, they're better than the Cowboys. So at the end of the day, there's always that. But it's not looking great for them either way. I honestly, I mean, at halfway point, being 4-4 isn't terrible, especially if you have a rookie QB. If I'm being completely honest, we'll see how it goes moving forward. Um, but yeah, the teams that they beat so far: Tennessee, who's garbage; Rams, when they were completely depleted; the Panthers, who was garbage; and Jacksonville, who was garbage. They have not defeated any real teams as of yet. They have New England coming up, and then they have Green Bay and Minnesota. Paul Crew, thank you. That is his name, Paul Crew. See, if Sean was on here, he would be able to help you guys out, but he's not with us. He would have been able to help me out right away, but he's not on here. All right. Um, Another game from this past week, man. Let's see. This is just a personal take for me, man. I was very upset when I watched the Miami Buffalo game. I couldn't I don't think Tyreek Hill is ever going to score a touchdown again this season, man. Like I think he scored a touchdown in week 1 and hasn't seen the end zone since. Which is kind of nuts, man. How did that happen? How did we get there? That you seen the end zone one time, sir, and never saw it again? Never got a shot at the end zone ever again. Yes, Tyreek Hill receiving 34 receptions, 446 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyreek Hill in fantasy world was drafted number 3 overall in most cases. This is sickening. Waddle, 1 touchdown on the season. There's only one person with multiple receiving touchdowns, and guess what, man? That's Devon Achane. The running back has the most receiving touchdowns on this team. Somebody really needs to talk about how bad Miami is and how Mike McDaniel needs to be called to the podium regardless of Tua being hurt. This is egregious. You have Tyreek Hill, you have Waddle, you have running backs. I don't care who's your quarterback. Mason Rudolph could do a better job on the Steelers with this roster. Mike McDaniel is falling down as a head coach in this season. But he has the built-in excuse of Tua Tagovailoa being hurt most of the season. But he should not have the built-in excuse of Tua being hurt because, dog, this is unacceptable. The numbers that I just quoted off to you about no actual wide receiver having more than 1 touchdown, and Waddle just got his first touchdown this week. Come on, man. I watched Huntley play for the Ravens. Huntley looked better for the Ravens than he did this season with Miami. I'm not trying to hear about this Tua stuff being the reason why Miami looks so bad. Miami looks bad because their coach is having issues. And I do not see it getting better. But it needs to. Anyway, but shout out to Buffalo for getting the win. Buffalo got the win against the Miami Dolphins 30-27. And on a side note, didn't help me none because Buffalo did not give James Cook a single touchdown, man. But Ray Davis gets a receiving touchdown instead of James Cook. And there's nothing more that I hate than the rando getting a touchdown and the star players not getting touchdowns. Like, I could deal with it if it was Khalil Shakir that got a touchdown, or even Keon Coleman that got a touchdown. But listen to this, man. Josh Allen threw 3 touchdowns against the Miami Dolphins. You want to know who got those touchdowns? There wasn't a single rushing touchdown in this game. But Ray Davis, Mac Hollins, and Quentin Morris. That's who got the touchdowns. 3 randos. 3 guys that I promise you is not in anybody's starting lineup in the fantasy world. Nobody out there, unless you're playing some really crazy deep dynasty league, is Mac Hollins, Ray Davis, or Quentin Morris in your starting lineup. But those are the 3 touchdown scorers for the Bills. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Don't know how that happened. But all right. Jets got a victory. They are currently 3-6. They were saying that they could take 2 more losses before they made the trade back when they were 3-4 or something like that. And immediately after they said that they could only take 2 more losses on the season to stay in playoff contention, they lost 2 games. And so now the Jets have to win out. So let me ask you guys that's watching, you think the Jets can win out? They got a soft schedule, but do you truly believe while watching them that they can win out for the rest of the season? Devonta Smith does not look like, not Devontae Adams does not look like the connection to Aaron Rodgers is the same that it once was. Yes, he scored this past week and it looked a little bit better, but it did not look like it once was. And maybe they'll get there. But I don't know. It's looking sketchy for the Jets. And they did all that. They fired the coach. They went for Devontae Adams. They did all these things. Except for look at the man in the mirror. And look at Rodgers and say, hey, man, you need to stop going on retreats and start worrying about football. Stop spending time in dark huts. Worry about football. Hey, when your mascot is a zebra, anything is possible. You're absolutely right. Ask the Chiefs. Ask the only undefeated team in the NFL what's possible when your mascot is a zebra. Last game that I'm really going to talk about is the Buccaneers-Chiefs game. Buccaneers, despite losing Chris Godwin, Buccaneers are battling. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no problem. That's what Baker Mayfield said. He went out there and balled out. 23 for 31, 200 yards passing, 2 TDs, and only took 2 sacks with no interceptions. Baker Mayfield is a monster. He also rushed 4 times for 20 yards. Man, shout out to Baker Mayfield. He's out here playing. I like it. I really like it. And as someone that has been a Baker Mayfield detractor for pretty much his entire career, it says something that I'm now acknowledging him. Dude is balling. The dude is actually playing. No, like I said, no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans, no problem. He said, I'm going to go out there and play. Now, at the end of the day, he cannot control that Todd Bowles decided to go ahead and kick the field goal and go into OT. What are you thinking, Todd? Why would you do that? Why would you put this game in the hands of the refs and in the hands of Patrick Mahomes? You are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Like, what were you thinking, brother? Now, I understand that you may have been questioned by some if you went for the 2-point conversion and didn't get it. And that's what caused you to lose the game. But I guarantee you, people would have understood it. Some people might have not have liked it, but they would have said your logic was sound. They would have been like, nah, I would have did this, but they wouldn't have disagreed with the logic behind it. But at the end of the day, what I disagree with is you decided, that guy that tends to not lose in overtime, the guy that scored in 16 seconds, he drove the field in 16 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and go into overtime with him. Doesn't make sense. And you decided to go into overtime with that guy in the season where he has every single stripe in his back pocket. Every single stripe on the field is in their back pocket this season. And it was a running joke last year, a running joke the year before, but man, it's absolutely real this year. Serious real. I do not understand why you decided to go into OT against Patrick Mahomes. I watched in the red zone, the right guard jumped so far on a false start that there's no way a flag didn't come out. But lo and behold, no flag. No flag. Throw the ball to Travis Kelce. He gets tackled right at the first down. They're 2 yards away from the end zone. They could have still got the first down and still had more tries to get into the end zone with 2 yards away. And that's what you decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put the ball back in his hands. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't have did it, though. I could tell you that. That's the only thing I could tell you is that you shouldn't have did that. You could do a lot of things, but don't do that. All right. Sean says, choosing overtime versus Mahomes is like kicking a Devin Hester. Take your pride out the game. Absolutely, bro. Take your pride out the game. Like you think, oh, we're going to go out there and get a stop. Nope. Not when the offensive line don't. This Chiefs offensive line is not required to have any sort of discipline and when it comes to their play because they can false start as much and as often as they want. They can hold as much and as often as they need to because they're not going to get flags in the crunch time. When it matters, they're not going to get flagged. So, hey man, it is what it is. All right. So, that's it for the recap. The rest of the games, if you want to hear about the rest of the games, go knock yourself out. Go find another podcast that's going to talk to you about all those other games. I'm only going to talk about the ones I care about or the ones I want to talk about. Or the ones that you guys mention. And if you guys ain't mentioning it, I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, and if you are watching this at a later time, maybe you should join me live. And if you want me to talk about a particular team. But if you don't join me live, I'm not going to talk about that particular team. And shout out to everybody that's watching. Link, like, subscribe. You know the deal. Next up, man. NFL trade deadline returns, bro. Let's get into it. Let's have the conversation, What were the returns from the NFL trade deadlines? Who got what? Were they happy with what they got? As we can see on this bottom ticker right there, it says Commanders trade for Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore was traded to the Commanders for a 2025 third, a 2025 fourth, and a 2025 sixth. The Commanders received Marshawn Lattimore, of course, and a 2025 fifth. Hey, man, it's interesting how cheap a player will go for when you are wholesaling the team. Because if you weren't wholesaling this team and it's falling apart, you wouldn't have had to get a third, fourth, and a sixth and still give up a fifth. You would have been able to get a second for at least for Marshawn. Maybe a first. And if this was the beginning of the season or whatever like that. But now they're like, okay, you're desperate. It's trade deadline. You need to get something for them. So this is what we'll give you. But shout out to the Commanders, man. They got stronger. They got a true lockdown corner on a defense that is somewhat suspect. So this helps shores up the defense quite a bit, in my opinion. So shout out to them. Next, I'm going to bring up. As a matter of fact, I'll just share the screen with you guys on what I'm looking at here. So that way I could just scroll down and we both see it at the same time. All right. All right, here goes the NFL trade deadline screen. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top. Sean, shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. They acquire defensive line depth right at the deadline. They acquire Khalil Davis. I'm not very familiar with Khalil Davis' work, but this seems like this is just a depth move. Houston receives a 2026 seventh round pick. So not even for this year, but for next year, and it's a seventh round pick. So this was definitely a depth move by them here. But shout out to them. And then next you got veteran CB finds new home in Baltimore. Tre'Davious White goes to Baltimore from the Los Angeles Rams. Rams receive a 2026 seventh round pick. Baltimore receives a 2027 seventh round pick and Tre'Davious White. So there's that. Steelers make another move and add D-line. And add to the D-line. They got linebacker Preston Smith and Green Bay got a 2025 seventh round pick. This was the big move here for the Steelers, though. Steelers acquire Mike Williams, and New York receives a 2025 fifth-round draft pick. I think Mike Williams is much better than Aaron Rodgers would like to pretend. I do not know if Mike Williams will be able to jump right on board and be effective with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I do believe Mike Williams is much better than Aaron Rodgers wants to claim about him. And next, I already talked about the Marshawn Lattimore thing. This one right here by the Cowboys. You got Cowboys making a trade with the Carolina Panthers today for wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. Dallas receives Mingo and the 2025 seventh round pick. Carolina receives the 2025 fourth round pick. They needed another guy opposite of CeeDee Lamb, I guess. We'll see how this goes. We won't really see the true effects of this for quite a while because Dak Prescott is out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And you got Cooper Rush as quarterback for the time being. So I do not think we will get the best out of this just yet. And then you have Bengals bolstering the running back room. I think this is a big one. Khalil Herbert, who pretty much did not have a shot in Chicago, and now Zach Moss dealing with injury. Cincinnati acquires Khalil Herbert. Chicago receives a seventh round pick this year. So this should be a big one for them. Or at least this should be one that we will see exactly how this is going to play out right away. Sean says Commanders are looking like a real organization in 2024. And he said Khalil Davis is a situational pass rusher at DT. Uh-huh. That boy trash. Trash. I really don't know. I'm just talking shit. Lions find replacement for Hutchinson. This was a big one on their part. Lions do replace Hutchinson with outside linebacker Zadarius Smith. They also receive a 2026 7th-round pick. Cleveland receives a 2025 5th-round pick and a 2026 6th-round pick. But yeah, we'll see what Ladarius Smith is able to do with the Detroit Lions. Let's look at what his stats were from this year, or what his stats were in the past as well. All right, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 5 sacks on the season so far. That's not too bad. Quite a few tackles, no fumble forces or anything like that. So he's doing all right. He's looking pretty good. Like I said, 5 sacks this season, 13 solo tackles, 23 combined tackles. All right, man. He don't look too bad. It seems last year with Cleveland he had 5 sacks and 4. Dang, did he get hurt last year? Because he's already at the exact same number. No, he played all the games last year. So he's having a breakout season. He's already having more. He has more than what he had last year. He's doing really well. So shout out to the Lions for bolstering that depth. And shout out to the Lions for not getting Myles Garrett. Because that's the one that I would have been afraid of. If they had ended up with Myles Garrett, I would have been sick. Because then it's like everybody just wrap it up. We know what the NFC will be. First place Cardinals trade for a pass rusher. They get Baron Browning. Denver gets a 6th-round pick this year. Vikings get Cam Robinson and a conditional 7th-round pick next year. Jacksonville receives a conditional 5th-round pick. Baltimore. This is trades from before. Okay. We already talked about Baltimore receiving Deontay Johnson and things of that nature. So, yeah, those are the trades from today, man. So you see what the big ones were, and how they will affect the team. I think the biggest one in how it will affect the team is, in fact, Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders. Another giant one, but this happened earlier, is D-Hop to the Chiefs. And we saw just this week, D-Hop to the Chiefs, it now looks good. That connection between Patrick Mahomes and D-Hop was on fire last night. It was on fire. So Patrick Mahomes looked a little bit better now that he has a real receiver on the squad. And now they actually are using Kelsey instead of him just out there running routes. They actually are utilizing them again. So it looks like the Chiefs are figuring themselves out. And also with the Zebras in their back pocket, going to be a tough out. Going to be a real tough out for everyone. All right. So, anything else that I want to talk about tonight? Last thing I think I want to talk about is the Embiid suspension. Joel Embiid, I want to bring this up because Joel Embiid has not played the game yet. But he is suspended 3 games by the NBA for his altercation with Marcellus Wiley. Yeah, I think that's the dude's name, if I'm being correct. Yeah, no, Marcus Hayes. Marcus Hayes. I don't know why I said Marcellus Wiley. Marcus Hayes. I'm tripping. Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Marcus Hayes, after Saturday loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, he had an altercation with Joel Embiid. The altercation was based on an article that Marcus Hayes had penned where he mentions Joel Embiid's dead brother and his son in saying that he was trying to leave a legacy behind, but was questioning Embiid's professionalism and effort to stay in shape. All right, so I wish I had the exact quote here, but it says, but this is what an article from ESPN says. It says the incident took place Saturday night and came in reaction to Embiid taking issue with a recent column by Hayes that mentioned Embiid's son and late brother, both who are named Arthur, while questioning Embiid's professionalism and effort to stay in shape. After shouting at Hayes during an exchange of words, Embiid shoved the columnist. It was reported that he punched him by some, but now they're saying it was a shove, not a punch. Only the people that were inside that locker room truly know which one of those two actually occurred. But it says Embiid has yet to play this season because of ongoing issues with his left knee, which he had surgery on last season, and limited his play during the first round loss of the New York Knicks in postseason. So he has yet to play already, and yet he's already suspended. So there's that. Hey man, if you want to wear a tinfoil hat, you can say, hey, he did that on purpose so he could get himself more time off. He went ahead and did that on purpose so he could get more time off. I don't believe that, but something you could say. But me personally, there's no reason to mention the brother at all, or his son for that matter, if you're going to talk about basketball when it comes to Joel Embiid. Now, Shannon Sharp would like to say that he was simply giving context into Joel Embiid's past comments of wanting to leave behind a legacy for his son and about his brother, and based on his brother, and to honor his brother rather, for or his play on basketball. But when you do that, and then if you going to mention his deceased brother and his son, and then immediately start kicking his back in like, well, you want to leave behind a legacy to honor your brother and your son, but you playing like shit, or you're not even showing up to play. Doesn't come off very good. Doesn't come off very good at all. Sean says he basically said Embiid was disrespecting the legacy of his brother and not being an example to his son. That's what the quote kind of comes off as. And that's the way I kind of took it as well. And I just find it interesting that Shannon Sharp was the person that, on one hand, said when it came to the Jason Kelsey's incident about the fan walking behind him with the phone and Jason Kelsey grabbing the phone and smashing it on the ground, where the fan uses a derogatory homosexual slur about Jason Kelsey's brother, Travis Kelsey. He said, Shannon Sharp says, yeah, basically the fan deserved it, and you can't be doing that, this, that, and the third. Like, he understands. He understands that. But when this journalist decides to bring up Joel Embiid's deceased brother and his son, oh, he was just giving context. Was he? Was he just giving context? Because that's not what it sounded like to me. It's not what it sounded like to other people's, and that's certainly not the way Joel Embiid took it. So I have a lot of problems with Joel Embiid. I have a lot of problems with his play, and I have a lot of problems with him missing this time right now, especially given the fact that if you had the knee problems in the postseason last year, why did you go to the Olympics in the summer? And now you want to miss games this season. I have a lot of problems with Embiid's decision making on the basketball court, and when it comes to basketball. But I would not bring up his son or brother into those situations. And even if I was thinking it, I'm not going to say it because there's just certain things that's distasteful, and that's the part of it for me. You might be thinking it. You may in certain situations be be barking up the right tree in the thought, but regardless of whether you're barking up the right tree, to speak it out loud is distasteful. And that's where it is for me. Marcus Hayes committed a distasteful act, and Joel Embiid confronted him about it. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Well, folks, that's the end of the episode for me. That's all I got for you. I hope that we still have a country tomorrow. Hope everything doesn't get burned down. I hope it's not the purge at the end of the night. And I appreciate, as I say that, I hear a siren right outside my window. That's epic timing. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me on my solo dolo journey without solo dolo. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Link, like, subscribe. As always, share it to a friend. And remember this, it's only entertainment. It's called sports entertainment business for a reason. These entities run around. They're not a sports business, they're a sports entertainment business. And they do so because they can manipulate it any way they want, just like wrestling. So, in the name of entertainment. So with that, bet accordingly. Whenever you think about what you're going to bet on, say to yourself, what does the NFL want to see happen? What does the NBA want to see happen? And then bet accordingly. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching. Link, like, subscribe again. Peace.